Hi everybody, Cheryl and Lady coming to you from the Ladies Garden and Home, and today we're going to play with moldy vegetables and torn up brown paper bags. Sounds like fun. Hope you join us. How you feeling today? How you feeling, sweetie? All better? You know, when I moved in, I was very, very lucky that not only did this little backyard space of the half of the house that I rent come with some raised vegetable beds that were already put in, but it also came with a rotating compost bin. And I had never composted before in like my life. It was rusted solid shut. I don't think it had been used in many years, but when I opened it up with a lot of effort, there was quite a lot of what the gardeners like to call black gold. So I love this bin because I'm a very, I wouldn't say lazy composter, but it really isn't much of an effort. What I do, my method is I keep my vegetable scraps and that kind of thing on the counter in the kitchen, and then I put it outside. This is already pretty much decomposed, if you can see. Also what I do is I save all of the packing material, the paper packing material, and a lot of paper bags and that kind of thing, and I tear them up into little pieces so that they decompose faster, and throw that in as well. I have some other stuff here too, like these leftover sticks from when I was processing the lavender that I harvested earlier. So it's actually quite nice to get rid of a lot of this stuff and start fresh. So anyway, let's go over to the compost bin and see what we got from the summer. I knew very little about the workings of compost when I inherited this bin and I started kind of gardening more seriously. But what I have learned is that you need a combination of nitrogen and carbon for things to break down evenly and kind of in the most efficient way possible. So people can get very, very complicated about the ratios of how much carbon to how much nitrogen. And just so you know, they call the nitrogen the greens. That's stuff like the vegetable scraps and the leafy, the vegetation from your garden. And the carbon are the things like the papers in the woods and the dried up stuff that's brown. So the greens and the browns, nitrogen, carbon, let's face it, anything that was living will die, and anything that dies will rot. So as complicated as it can be, if you just have patience, you are going to get compost, which is actually just decomposing natural matter. And it's different than soil, because soil, although it has life in it, is mostly done its decomposing. As opposed to dirt, which doesn't have any life in it. So I'm going to rotate this one more time. Okay, so I'm going to leave the opening here at the bottom so that all the compost that's been in there for a couple of months will just kind of drop to the ground. And I use these cat litter pans to collect it. Okay, let's see what we got. All right. Look at that. Nice. It still has some woody pieces in it like this. I'm not worried about that because Charles Dowding from No Dig doesn't worry about that. So if he doesn't worry, I don't either. This seems to need some more rotting down, so I'm just going to keep that in there. Let it get another couple of months. Now, these things that look like rocks are really just lumps, so you can just break those up. Okay, so here was the yield. Not too bad. And I'm leaving some inside, so kind of to activate and feed the next part of the process, which is going to be adding the materials that are going to set for the next couple of months. Here is my what I call my lazy compost pile, but this is just basically a corner of the fence by the bin, which was just empty space, no light, so I'm giving it up to all of the extra stuff that comes out of the garden. The only thing that you won't see in here is plants that had some kind of disease, because those I just throw away. Then what I'm going to do in the spring is I'm going to turn this and get to the good compost that hopefully will be underneath here. But I don't have any rhyme or reason to building it. I find that there's a lot of airflow through it, and it gets plenty of moisture from the rain. So I think, the difference is it takes longer. There's my little girl. I don't know if any of you saw my video last time, but lady had emergency gallbladder surgery about 2.5 weeks ago. She had been throwing up and not eating, and it became an emergency situation, and I'm just very, very grateful for all the doctors. I just wanted to show you an example of how everything rots. When I moved in here just 3 years ago, this bunch of compost here was just a rotting log. That's all. It wasn't even that rotted. Through the couple of years, it split open on its own. I didn't do anything to it, and it is really decomposing, and obviously a host for some weeds. All right. Let's get those moldy vegetables and shredded up paper in here. You could also use cardboard. I do find it easier though to put it in already pre-shredded or torn apart, because otherwise it really does take a lot longer to decompose. This is the smelly part. Although this is a really disgusting way to do it, as you can see, a lot of this is already decomposed. I have some of the smaller clippings from the garden I'm going to put in. I try not to put like tomatoes or peppers that are rotten in here, because I don't really want things to sprout in the bin. So, those types of things like tomatoes that haven't that have rotted on the vine or whatever, I put it into the lazy compost pile. All right. I also forgot to mention that I use these, these packing peanuts that are made from corn starch or whatever. These biodegrade very nicely too. Okay, we're clearly overflowing here, so I'm going to close it up and open it back up from the top. I do like this bin. Sometimes it's a little heavy to turn, but it's not been impossible yet. However, I will say that they don't make this model anymore. I looked it up once on the internet. I understand that there are some better ones being made today, so if you're interested in getting a compost bin, I would just do your research because, like I said, this just came with the property. And here I keep outside the sliding glass door to the kitchen, and I just put the bigger stuff that kind of won't fit in one of those tins, like, oh, my birthday flowers from my sister. Well, they're not going to go to waste, that's for sure. All right, there it is. We've got a couple of months worth of scraps, and like I said, paper bags and packing paper and peanuts and that kind of thing. So I'm going to seal it up now and turn it a couple of times, and then I'm probably going to just leave it alone all winter because it's going to get cold. It's going to rain for a couple of days, so I'm just going to let God do the washing on these before I recycle them. Okay. All right, I'm going to bag up the compost now and put it next to the bags of compost that I bought. As you can see, 6 months, this is the compost that I made. It's not a lot, but it's a bag. Not bad. That's a bin full of compost. Hopefully, because I took better care to kind of break things down a little bit before I went ahead and put it in this time. It won't take quite as long as this round did. You learn as you go, what can I say? I'm going to sign off for Lady tonight because she, as I told you, had surgery and she's still recuperating, so I really don't want to keep her outside too long. On behalf of Lady and I, we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope you, got a little inspiration to keep your kitchen scraps in your paper bags and what to do with them. I hope you subscribe, and I hope to see you guys soon. From the Ladies Garden and Home, enjoy your gardening journey. Bye!